Hello. Today we're speaking with Nuria Giménez. Am I pronouncing it right? Yes.
Perfectly. Yeah, very well.
She is the directress of the film My Mexican Pretzel. And this film was already screened in various film festivals and also won the Found Footage Award in this year's edition of the International Film Festival Rotterdam. So, hi, Nuria.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. I'm very happy to be in Vilnius.
Great.
At least virtually.
For now, maybe sometime, not virtually.
I hope so.
Yeah. So first of all, I think I want to thank you for this beautiful film and this very strong experience that we all of us had watching it. And so I think this will be the question that you get most, because I know that the film was made using the footage that your grandfather shot himself of his life and of his life with your grandmother. But the protagonist, Vivian, is and her diary is fictitious. It was written by you, and could you tell us a bit more? How did you come up with the idea for this film and the decision to put a made-up story on top of the documentary images?
Well, it wasn't something. Well, thank you very much also for all your comments. I'm very happy that you liked it and that people enjoy the film. It's very rewarding for me. And about the question, it's not something I decided beforehand. It's something that came up during the process, because there was one thing that for me was really clear from the beginning, and it was what I didn't want to do. That was very clear, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I knew I didn't want to talk about the personal lives of my grandparents, and I didn't want to make I would say conventional documentary film, where telling, like my grandfather was born in 1913, blah, blah. I didn't want to do that. There were different reasons for that. On one hand, I felt very comfortable using the footage of my grandparents, and that might sound contradictory, but I didn't feel comfortable talking about their personal lives. So, and not because they have something special or that you need to hide, it's just that it's their life, so I didn't want to use them. On the other hand, the process was funnier, way more funnier, and if I could make everything up, because I had total freedom and I could play much more with the images and with my interpretation of them. So in that sense, I think the creative process was much more interesting. And finally, the big question of the whole thing is also if I would try to stick to the facts of their lives, I would lie anyway, of course. The only thing I would rely would be the imagination of or memories of my mother, who is their daughter. So I would lie for sure. I would make up things, because I would have to fill the gaps and try to see to say things that I really don't know. So, as I already said in other places, if you have to lie, then let's lie properly, no? And have fun lying. I mean, yeah, it's beautiful that you can, make up a story from the images.
Mm-hmm. So, also for me, it was interesting. Did you make up the story first, or did it come up from the images? What was the process of writing the diary and watching the images?
It was, first of all, I watched the images a lot of times, over and over again, and because I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly with them, so I also started to play with the images. like try short pieces, doing things and experimenting a bit and having fun too. And on the other hand, I started writing everything that came up into my mind, whatever it was, any ideas, any sentences that came up to my mind, any possible characters, any obsessions I always have. And this lasted for 4 years, these two parallel processes. So then I started to also see a lot of subtle things in the images that for me meant a lot. Well, for me, it's my interpretation, of course, but you start seeing things that you didn't see the first time you watched the images. So very small gestures or a look or, interesting things for me. And at the same time, I already had a lot of text written. And then the most interesting part of the process started, which was look for ways of putting together or bring together the images and the text. So that was really very, also a very funny thing to do, but also very difficult because I had loads of text and lots of images. And I could have made a film of 5 hours, but then no one would watch it, of course, and it would be too long. But it was difficult for me to leave things out, which I think is a key thing to do in every film. And I learned a lot together from the co-editor who helped me, which was Cristóbal Fernández. And then the film has now the rhythm that allows you to read the text, enjoy the images, and listen to the sounds, more or less. These are the 3 elements. But of course, the first versions were a lot of text, a lot of images, and different.
Yeah, it seems that you chose the language of the film is actually subtitles, so it's written down. And for me, it was very interesting. Why did you make this decision? Because when you think about a film that has a lot of text in it, it seems that it is hard for the viewer to enjoy these images, these very beautiful images that are shown on the screen, and read the story as well. So it's a very brave choice, I think. So why did you make it?
Well, this was another, I had like 3 decisions from the beginning, more or less, and this was the second one. The first one was that I didn't want to tell the personal lives of my grandparents, and the second one was I didn't want to have a voiceover. First of all, I think a voiceover always gives too much information about the person talking. I mean, then I would give you a lot of information about Vivian, and I prefer that you imagine the voice of her as you want. If she talks fast or slow, or if she's angry or tired or happy, or if she says the things she's saying bored or desperate, or I didn't want to do that. And on the other hand, I also wanted to be faithful to the idea of a diary, which is meant to be read, not to be heard, no? Somehow. And but it's not really the same way you speak. So that was another of the things, maybe the things I wrote, if someone would say them, it would seem a bit like fake or forced. But if you read them, it might work better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very beautiful idea.
And also, the last thing is, of course, if I didn't have, well, first of all, I tried the voiceover. I tried it so I could discard it, because I don't want to discard something without having tried it. but it confirmed what I thought. And also the last thing is, if I don't have a voiceover, I can use the sound the way I've used it. If I would have a voiceover, I couldn't have done all this game with the sound. It would be impossible. Because most of the times when you hear the sound, sometimes there is text too. So it wouldn't be possible to have both things at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so of course my next question is about the sound of the film. It was very unusual experience to sit in the movie theater and watch a film that has relatively no sound, that uses silence a lot, and when there is sound, it is very prominent, like planes or some other noise that is very, it attracts your attention. And could you tell us a bit more about why did you choose this kind of strategy?
Yes, well, first of all, I wanted to give the possibility of enjoying the moving images in silence, because I think we are constantly, you know, like overloaded with sounds, music all the time. So actually, I think it's really powerful to watch moving images in silence. I think it's really amazing. On the other hand, it also gave me the chance of putting this sound, and then this sound has much more strength and power because there is this silence. If I have all the time some sound, even if it's like ambient sound, then the sounds that are now wouldn't be so powerful, I think. So the silence also helps to give this strength. And the one thing I knew also from the beginning is I didn't want to put ambient sound. So it was more a question of trying to express the character's emotions through different sounds. And that is a really great work by the sound designer, who is Jonathan Dark. And it was a very, also very interesting process, very funny sometimes, but also very hard, because we had to decide exactly where the sound started, where it finished, and what type of sound would we use there and why. So we tried many different things, and then that we try, of course, to look for a coherence, or you know, like something consistent that makes sense in the whole film, not just at that piece. But yeah, it was a great thing.
And did you record the sounds yourselves? Did you use like a what is it called? A field recordings of the sounds, or were there also archive sounds?
This would be something to talk with Jonathan, because he, but I know for sure he has made most of the sounds, he created them. You know, he really came up with amazing ideas to create new sounds, trying to express something we wanted to express. So yeah, for sure there are some things, especially there's, for example, this music in very slow motion when they are in Las Vegas, or, you know, these kind of things. Yeah, we use archive material, but most of the sounds are homemade.
Okay, so I wanted to go back a little bit to the images themselves, and watching it seems almost hard to believe that they were made by your grandfather as a home video, because they look very professional and very beautifully made. So did your grandfather have any background in this, in cinema, or was cinema important in your family, or how did this happen, these beautiful images?
I know, they were beautiful, but they were in a basement in the dark for 40 years. So I didn't know about their existence. I just found out when he died, you know, like, and he never told me about it. No, and he wasn't really a great fan of cinema. He was someone very sensitive and with a good eye, no, let's say, and he enjoyed very much, art and traveling, and he was a very passionate man, very much. But I was also very surprised, especially that they were there in the basement, because I think they are like a treasure. And when I found out what was inside them, I was like, wow, that's wonderful. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it seems that there are not only that there are a document of your family history, but also of this world that we no longer know and no longer see. And it seems that they travel a lot, and we see different footage from different places of the world. And it seems like, as you said, there were a lot of images that you didn't use in the film. And do you maybe have any plans with them in the future, or about archiving and preserving them? Because this is really a treasure.
Yeah, we wanted to give them to Filmothek, but I don't know if they want it, so they can be well preserved, no? Because I think the images are beautiful. And also I would like to mention also another person who helped me a lot, who worked a lot in the film, who is Federico Del Pero, who made the color, because of course it's something that maybe you can't notice, especially from the computer, but there's a lot of work. There are more than 300 scenes, and each of them is made so that there is this uniformity, or when I say, for example, that they are in a place, maybe I'm using footage from 5 different places and from different years with, of course, different lights. So he managed to give this uniformity. And also there's another work which is like a chromatic evolution that goes parallel with the emotional evolution of Vivian. So you can see these strong, bright colors when they are young and they are in love and they are happy. And then slowly the color goes weaker, and it's very subtle, but if you focus on that, you will notice. And I have no plans of working with this material for some time, because it's been 7 years that I've been working with it, which was amazing. But now I would like to start something different.
Mm-hmm. And next question would be about your future projects and future plans. Do you have something in mind, what we should look for in the future?
I don't know. I work very slow, and I'm not someone who forces, like who tries to, because for me this is something very sacred, and I want to enjoy this freedom and to enjoy doing the project, whatever it is. But now I have different ideas, but I still haven't decided for one of them, so still don't know.
And I think it is very nice process that you have, this living with the ideas and being genuine to yourself. And it's you can feel it in the film that it is very intimate and very tender. So yeah, it was a nice experience watching it. And so I have this last question that I had when I was looking for various films for the program, and yours was the one that I clicked on because of the name, because it seemed so odd, and I thought, wow, this is an interesting film. I think I should see it because of the name. And then, of course, it was very beautiful. But still, after watching the film, I'm not sure what is the Pretzel. Could you comment on that? Why was this?
Yeah, the title is also open to interpretation a bit. So because in many, it's very, it's fantastic because many people have come up with different interpretations. I didn't think of. So it's great. I mean, I appreciate very much the feedback. And for example, I mean, the Pretzel is this, you know, this kind of bread, right? That you can eat, and that I identify it a lot with Swiss German. Also the way it's written, because, well, and so for me it represents a bit different things related to Central Europe, and especially the Swiss German part. But it has a lot of interpretations, because the Pretzel is also, you know, like a closed shape, and it's two arms together. And anyway, and someone told me, and I liked it, well, different people told me, and I liked it very much, that Mexican represents, you know, like Leo, the lover, and the Pretzel would represent Leon. So it's like the two loves of Vivian together. It's not what I meant, but I like very much the interpretation. So you can choose whether you
Which
you
one
want.
I like.
Yeah.